Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, SAS Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
Joining us here on Real Agriculture, we have Dr. Don Flaten, soil scientist at the University of Manitoba. And Don, here we are at Kelburn Farm, just outside Winnipeg. We have the flooding Red River right beside us as a reminder of how wet things are across much of Western Canada. And it's, of course, tied to how wet things were last fall. And that's an issue on the minds and affecting decisions for a lot of growers this spring.
Yeah, and probably one of the biggest questions that we get from farmers is, what to do about their nitrogen fertilizer application, because a lot of farmers that would normally have put on anhydrous ammonia in the fall just couldn't get on their land, and so they're wondering what kind of options do they have this spring.
So what are those options?
Well, they'll vary in terms of their viability on each farm, so we've put a little fact sheet together between myself and John Hurd at Manitoba Agriculture. We've put a little fact sheet together to sort of outline some of the principles by which you might select one of those options, but it could be, pre-plant, broadcast, or banding, depending on whether that fits in with your sort of tillage or farm operation. We've got some options in there on applying at planting. Your seed row limits are pretty tight because nitrogen is pretty toxic if you put it in the seed row. But there's also some options for applying either broadcasting or banding immediately after planting, or putting on modest rates at planting, and then some mid-season applications. There's so many options, and different options are going to suit different people, but different placement, different products. That's another side that's probably advanced a lot in the last few years, is that we have some enhanced efficiency fertilizers, especially those that cut down on the risk of volatilization. With a urease inhibitor, urea or UAN solution 2800 can be put on relatively safely on the surface of the soil without losing a lot to gassing off.
Okay. So in a situation like this, do you think there will be increased place or fit for some of these nitrogen stabilized products?
Absolutely. I think that this is the perfect year for considering some of those extra efficient type products. If the weather conditions are good and you get rain shortly after applying UAN solution or regular 4600, it'll soak into the ground and you won't have any worries. But to give yourself an extra couple weeks of protection, something like a urease inhibitor can certainly pay off.
Okay. What about in-season applications? There is more interest in split nitrogen. Would this also be a fit this year?
Well, especially for high-yielding crops like canola and wheat, if we take a look at the amounts of nitrogen that's required to grow top-notch yields, even if we didn't have wet conditions, we might not want to put all of our nitrogen on at planting. And so we've been doing some more work with split applications, and last year in our high-yielding wheat trials, for example, we had excellent results from putting on at least half of the nitrogen at planting, and then let's say the other maybe 30, 40, 50% on partway through the growing season, and that seemed to work out well. And it cuts down on some of the labor and logistics of planting and still gives you very good yields and good protein.
All right. Thanks for your time, Don.
Thank you.